I am happy to have you as a neighbor, and I say neighbor because technically that is what we are. After all, what is our brilliant blue planet if it is not a single globally shared neighborhood that is home to people of all walks of life from all over the globe? There is no doubt about it. There may be a difference in our origins. There might even be a vast ocean or a sprawling stretch of land between us, or maybe we're even separated by a great distance. Despite the physical distance between us, we are practically neighbors regardless of the physical distance between us. It is at the end of the day that each and every human being lives under the same roof, which is the atmosphere. As we work under the same midday sun and stare up at the same midnight sky, as we wonder at the stars, even the water we drink and the air we breathe is very literally shared between us. Our delicately balanced ecosystem has been recirculating it for eons. Speaking of our environment, things are starting to look pretty grim. In the last couple of years, it has felt like we have been living in a dystopian novel. Millions of people around the world donned masks and sought shelter. America's west coast was also engulfed in flames and choking black smoke due to record-setting wildfires. Millions of acres of land were destroyed, and thousands of homes were razed to their very foundations. While some parts of the world experienced fierce droughts, extreme heat, and extreme cold, others suffered torrential hurricanes and severe flooding. A scientifically undeniable source-o climate is responsible for these catastrophes and even greater threats, measured in inches. The goal of this video is to explore how electric bikes fit into the picture of lowering greenhouse gases and how their widespread adoption can help reverse global warming. Just look at it this way. In your neighborhood, someone gets up each day and gets in their car and drive to their work 10 to 20 miles away, while another neighbor does the same, trying to their work 5 days a week, and that only two of you neighbors. Each uses one car to drive a total of 20 to 40 miles a day, 5 days a week for only one person. And for the pleasure of driving alone in an enclosed, stuffy car, yelling at traffic as they get late to work, while paying for gas, oil, tune-up, insurance, and loss of value of the car for every mile driven. It's just nuts. We humans need this beautiful blue marble so we can keep it, as a result of being baked into a dry, dusty environment. Let's be clear about fossils. Although e-bikes alone won't solve climate change, they can dramatically and quickly reduce greenhouse gases produced by combustion engine vehicles, also known as cars, trucks, and vans. The basics are as follows. With just 15% of drivers convinced that e-bikes are actually a viable commuting option, we could reduce carbon dioxide emissions from these gas-guzzling cars by about 12%. It's not exactly an even trade, there's no doubt about that. We lose a few points because we have to charge our e-bikes again, although 12% may not seem impressive at first. At the same time, about 150 million cars would be taken off the road. In 3 verses of Gridlocked, how many verses are there? The 12% reduction would result in individual savings, share of 496 pounds of carbon per year. It's a lot of carbon dioxide, isn't it? As a result of the massive amount of carbon in the atmosphere, it would take approximately 10 mature trees to absorb the same amount as one mature tree. Perhaps that's why weeping willows are always so weepy. The electric bike climate solution is actually pretty feasible. As e-bikes can easily be integrated into existing cycling infrastructure, they can be adopted almost immediately and have a positive effect on the environment. Moreover, it would be practical to implement it immediately. Our world was locked down in early 2020 as a direct result of this. Within a few days, the gray, smog-filled air cleared and bright blue skies replaced the gray skies. In many places, even wildlife began to return. Our carbon footprint was undeniably apparent, but there is still time to reverse it. By shifting to electric bikes, you reduce carbon emissions, but you also improve your health. Congestion will be eased and streets will be quieter. There will be more public space, more pedestrian space, and more time spent outside. Having more peace of mind might even be a benefit. Why isn't this happening sooner? E-bikes are not just for kids. First off, they can't afford them. And second, you can save a ton of expense by giving them your car and buying an e-bike for yourself. Adults over 40 love e-bikes to commute to work, while over 60 love the use of e-bikes to stay in shape and get some fresh air on a daily basis. Not to mention the bike clubs springing up for retired people leaving the country club golfing range to enjoy the outdoors outside in parks and on trails coast to coast that are free. There are 2 parts to this story. The first part. Over the last couple of years, electric bikes have been less expensive, but the widespread adoption of e-bikes as a primary mode of transportation will require government subsidies. Governments around the world have already implemented a variety of programs to help their residents invest in e-bikes for transportation. The U.S. is finally following suit with the E-Bike Act, which would allow for a 30% refundable tax credit on qualified electric bicycles. It's not a bad start. The second part also shares the same idea. We should be discussing the impacts of climate change. They won't be coming anytime soon. Right now, they're taking place. The electric bike does not offer a panacea for global warming, but it does offer a unique, easy-to-implement solution that can make a noticeable difference to the environment. How e-bikes can help with climate change to your coworkers and family. E-bikes are a key component of lowering carbon emissions. Thanks for watching. I welcome your comments.